Hello again, everyone. Thanks for joining me. We have a couple requests up to do a reading for Virgo, so that's what we're going to do. So happy that you're here at this moment in space and time, and for all the wonderful YouTubers that are leaving comments. Once again, I appreciate all the love that you guys are sending. It's been so amazing, so awesome. So thanks again, you guys. We're going to see what's up as we venture into that area of the galaxy that is Virgo's space. What's going on in your space, Virgo? What's going on with you? We're going to just ask Tarot what's happening for Virgo for the month of February. That's right, Tarot. Virgo for the month of February. And thank you, Tarot, and thank you, Source, for all the channeled messages that are coming through and been resonating with the people that have been tuning in. I love to know, be reaffirmed, reassured that it all works. It all still works. The grand matrix, the grand synchronicity, as it were. Everything is as it's meant to be in this moment in space and time. And if we're feeling out of sorts, we are trying to align with the energy, and that's what Tarot's helping us do. So, yeah, we'll keep the chitter-chatter and the dribble-drabble to a minimum here. Let's get a good cut on these cards and see what we can do for a sign of Virgo. All right, message at the bottom of the deck. We have the card of transformation, the death card. Interesting, Virgo, to see this card come up in your overall energy. Time for a change. Are things long since overdue? You've been dealt a heavy hand the last few years, Virgo, is the overall feeling with this. It's like people changing jobs, or there could have been injury, or there could have been lifestyle changes that, came about upon you very suddenly that called for drastic change with you. And to see this card in your energy is kind of like that adventure, that journey is still not over. It's still causing the sort of the cocooning and the reemergence, whichever stage you may be at. This card lets me know to tell you that you continue to do you, no matter what other people are thinking, saying, whether you're getting along with colleagues, co-workers, friends, family. Those are really minor things when we're looking at the spiritual journey and the big transformation. It's a card to say, keep doing you, keep persisting in that which is the discovery of your life purpose, and of where and as to why things have been dealt the way they have been. It's not like reflecting and reminiscing in sorrow, but it's more so like grasping strength from an understanding that even sometimes when you go into it like super prepared with all your ducks in a row, all your I's crossed and your T's dotted, sometimes it's just like Virgo is being called to like a level of new strength within the galaxy, where it's like the ascension process for some Virgos, it's transcending what life is presenting them with, and it's like that awareness that is at the forefront. And sometimes I feel, Virgo, as if you lose focus, and then that's when things change and you're like, oh my goodness, I have to adjust, I have to rearrange. But when we think about those changes, whether sudden or like that have been occurring sort of on the subsurface for so long, and then we wake up and like if we're unhappy, or if we feel like, man, I wish I was somewhere else in a different space and time, it's kind of like we can think of that as positive direction in co-creation, where it's like even dipping into like things like the Akash, and knowing like at some point in time you knew, your higher self knew, your higher self is in it for the hard knock life, the hardcore things that cause the most growth and encourage the most strength, not only in life but in the extended spiritual journey. Okay, so that's the death card up for your overall energy. Interesting to see that card there. It makes me excited, Virgo. All right. Now we got reversal in the Six of Wands and the day-to-day things. So you may find yourself having to do a lot of running back and forth between people. There could be like, if you're in work situations where it's like a lot's being called on, and then as soon as you like accomplish something and you go to re-collaborate or to report to somebody, that person's not there, or they might not even like care, or it might seem like it's out in left field, or you may be questioning like, oh, what's the priority here? people might not be being very clear with you at this time. And other situations on a deeper level, there's somebody in your environment that could be backtracking. They could have made promises, they could have made suggestion, and now they're rescinding on offers or backtracking if it comes to dealings with business. Wands are typically surrounding the workplace, but they're also the spiritual journey. So if we relate it back to this death card, so I'm going to try and keep my shadows so we don't get the glare on the cards. I'm going to work on some studio upgrades, but it's happening. Sorry, back into the channel. When we combine this Six of Wands with the Death card and we look at this in terms of the spiritual journey, this is definitely a good month for you to pause, to have quiet time away from screen time, stimulation, things of that nature. Things feel like they're progressing too fast, then they probably are. Or if you're having tough times with like energy, or somebody out there maybe with a little bit of like hypertension, or your nerves just being on end, this is really a time where it's like the universe is just being like, slow down, you're fine, everything's good. You just need to kind of like shut the system down for a little while and take time for you. There's times where like you're so loyal and you're so committed and you're so invested in doing that perfect job or getting things just right. And you know, it's not even the approval of another means that much to you, but the approval to yourself to know that you've satisfied that other person or that particular objective to a point where it's like you cross it off your list and it's done, and it's like it goes into your repertoire of established reputation, portfolio, things like that, in the common thing. And spiritually, it's almost like you can use that in the same thing. Once you have like a meditation practice or a spiritual understanding, perhaps you come to a new level of something what you have finally revealed to be true for yourself. It's like, make sure like that's kind of cataloged within your not only your, I don't want to say your memory, but it's cataloged in your spiritual routine, I guess, is so to speak, so that you don't forget it, or the next thing comes along and it's like, what was that other thing that I got so hype about, I got so involved with, or had me really inspired, and then now it seems to be gone. So Six of Wands is saying like, let's slow down, let's take stock, let's evaluate, and let's store understandings, memories, things into our sort of subconscious spiritual data bank, if that makes any sense. The Akash, I guess, is the bigger channel word that comes forward, right, in most situations. So that, you know, when we are facing adversity and things like that, we can be like, I'm going to do it with more strength, more persistence, and more, it's not even persistence. There's another word beyond that. That's like, that's going to allow you to find that balance between what is perfection through what is in front of you versus how you're feeling on the inside, so that if anything's coming up to that gets you normally flustered, you are learning those aspects of like taking the deep breath and letting it slide, sort of thing. So a lot of running back and forth between people, between ideas. It's almost like for some of you, like you're the messenger of sorts, or you're being asked to relay information at this time as well. Okay, up next, Nine of Cups, longing. So I feel that there's Virgo in here, that somebody could be looking towards conception or recently conceived, and is kind of like looking at their overall fulfillment and being like, wow, is life really abound to such a facet in my life that I have time for all that is important to me and that I love. So hold dearly to the life change that has occurred for you in this instance. And when I see this now, this is definitely like somebody that there's been a new pregnancy or issue surrounding pregnancy that is maybe the reason for you even like tuning in at this time, where it's like you have certain questions that you would like to have answered, and that you are answering for yourself at this time about the whole process. Or you may be looking at children as they age, as they progress and they develop, and this card is saying just really sink into that, just love them for all that they're worth and all that you see, and take pride in that which is yours, and a part of you, going out into the world, or just blowing your mind when they come home from school with like a new level of understanding that is like, holy smokes, like little Johnny, that is so impressive. And you might be feeling like very emotional in February of this month surrounding those people that are closest to you, and it's like emotional in a good way. Like Nine of Cups is like a lot of time like tears of joy. And if they are tears of sorrow for you at this time, Virgo, the Nine of Cups lets me know to tell you that it's only relevant in the present. There is, for anything that is stuck in our energy that is causing sorrow, this is the key to renewing the letting go process, which is always in the ebb and flow of what we're doing, okay? And for others of you, the Nine of Cups here is saying there's a big change on the horizons as to how you're feeling. So maybe you've been fed up, maybe you've been sick and tired with what you're doing or certain someone in your environment. And it's going to be interesting. Watch it mirror as if your feelings towards it are changing. There will be change in the environment regarding that person, especially as long as all your intentions are good, which I think they are at this time, Virgo. I don't have any time to doubt this. And the Three of Cups reversed. Okay, so you taking time for yourself definitely is a big thing here, and wanting to do so, wanting to do the things that make you feel good, and even if it means like cutting certain social ties at this time to accomplish that or to feel that way. Maybe it's just a situation where it's like you're not feeling rested in the morning. You feel like, well, maybe I'm not going to that dinner party so that I can wake up a little bit more refreshed. Or like every time I go over to Julie's house, I'm there till like midnight, and maybe it's just time to tell Julie like, no, I'm not coming over the play crib or to have dinner tonight. It's just going to relax, and that's okay too. Your true friends. This card in reversal too, it's like your true friends, if there's any questions about that, are going to make themselves known, versus people that are like kind of like the proximity people, where it's like colleagues or certain amicable friendships where it's like they're not the deep ones, or you're questioning as to whether or not to take this person to the next level on your friendship of like, this is a lifelong friend or this is just somebody that's in this particular chapter of my life. Those things are going to be making themselves clear for you in February as well. Okay. Wow. Five of Swords. Because yeah, definitely some division here. Definitely some things going on where it's like colleagues and coworkers, they may be feeling a little bit jealous. They may be feeling like there's not the right vibe there because you are doing you. And when Virgo's in that zone, when Virgo's like, I'm accomplishing what I'm going to accomplish to the degree that I want to accomplish it, other people can tend to get really fed up or really like opposed to that energy because number one, maybe they're jealous. Number two, maybe it's making them look bad in their own vision, or they're stuck in ego or something like this. And the Five of Swords is saying as well, if what you're doing does not have the intention or if it's specifically there to like position ego in another, you're going to have to kind of watch your step. The Five of Swords is saying like if there are these friendships that are like kind of waning or falling away or being tested at this time, it's like you want to make sure you're absolutely certain before you do or say anything that's going to burn a larger bridge or something that you might want to return to someday. Okay. Five of Swords is also saying you may be feeling a little bit headstrong at this time about what is endearing to you in the heart. You may be setting goals or chasing dreams that it's not that you can't attain them. It's not that you can't get to them. It's almost like, but you're kind of like expecting to get to them. It's like, well, I've set forward the intention. I'm doing the work. This thing should manifest, or this outcome should arrive as a direct result of it, and it should happen rather quickly. That's not always the case. The Five of Swords is sometimes like, if you're headstrong and it's very important to you in the heart, it's very important for the mind to let go so that higher self and the heart can really allow it to bring it in its divine timing, right? Five of Swords is kind of like, we sometimes forget to like push things where it's like, we wonder why it's not working out or it's not to be, but divine timing has a lot to do with it. And it kind of transcends or goes beyond what our conscious mind can work itself around. So yeah, this taking the time for itself and letting go of these outcomes or kind of loosening our grip on expectations, especially on matters of the heart, is another theme that's coming up here for you in February. Okay? All right, Ace of Swords. But yeah, it's like the scientific process. As soon as we relax our brain muscle on one particular thing, it allows that room for that new thought, that new inspiration to come in. As well, this lets me know in communication, if you've been questioning somebody being honest or truthful at this time, it's going to be good for you to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's going to be good for you to stay away from assumptions at this time, or accusations, which are never good, but sometimes, like in a harsh stance, they're called for. And I don't know what the situation is, like maybe directly in the waking hours of your life, that's causing, like, kind of, I feel like this gripping and relaxing, or somebody like on the stress ball, you know, like the little spongy ball that you like grip and let and grip and let. It's like, this is kind of like where the mind is at. So whenever you're letting go of the thing that keeps you focused, or the thing that, like, we all have that one thought that returns to us, like, no matter what we do. Like, sometimes when we're falling asleep or we're in relaxation, and the thought keeps returning like 10 times in half an hour, 10 times in an hour. It's like when the brain muscle is going to release on that, and you breathe your way out of it. Make sure to be aware of the spark. Jump onto new thoughts and allow the train of thoughts to serve you this month, where it's like, wow, I never thought of that before. But then maybe get out a pen and paper and write down the 3 questions, or the 3 things, the next 3 thoughts that one thought inspired, so to speak. And as well, somebody's truth here is coming through to serve you well. So if you're kind of in the nitty-gritty day-to-day life, and you are acting as this go-between between people, or running errands or messages or accomplishing tasks for them, it's like you are really taking people at face value at this time, and somebody's truth is going to come along to set your mind at ease. It might not even really have anything to do with you, but it's like somebody sharing like a sweet nugget of truth, or a secret that's worked for them all their life, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you just opened up to me about that right now. That feels so good. That's something that I can take. I can put it in that data bank of like spiritual tools, or even practical tools, that we have. So cut and dry honesty, it's going to be very important to you as well this month, as you're dealing with many people, and we relate it back to the incoming, or the energy we're aligning it with. The Ace of Swords upright is very good with the Death card, because with the transformation, and like that, all endings leading to new beginnings, or when you get to the bottom of the slide, you go back to the top. It's like you can take pride, you can take power in this at this time, and you can allow it to be your reset when those mental exercises are occurring in your brain, and you're doing that slowdown. But the thing is like, we're slowing down, we're releasing, relaxing, the new thought comes in, and we're jumping on it. And I'm saying that's okay. That's what you want to do, as long as there is that ebb and flow, that balance. It's time to let the mind relax. It's time to get out the pen and paper and make sure we're logging and we're recording everything. That's the balance that we're finding, because the transformation, the bigger change, is going to come from a realization that you make about a certain truth, whether it's yourself or whether it comes from somebody else, that you have cataloged, that you will find or return to or practice in the present moment, that is going to get you feeling better, or on the upper hand, that heavy hand we talked about, that life has maybe dealt you over the last few years. It's going to be like that catalyst that gets you up and over that hump, like a bad Wednesday, where it's like, oh, it's hump day, or we're on our way to the weekend sort of thing. It's like, think about that in a larger perspective this month of February, where it's like, whew, spring's only like a couple months around the corner. I got plans. I got places I want to go. I want things that I want to try out and that I want to do, right? And by I mean you, like the sort of the methodology of the speech. We come and go, right? For you, Virgo, for you. All right. And here we go again. This is up this kind of this is more masculine energy up through this path here of being headstrong. It could lead to some standoffish things of nature because the 6 of Wands reversed into a 7 of Wands upright. This could be like minor conflicts that are leading to space and more for some it could be like silent treatment, but for other people it's like you're continuing to do you, and make sure that you're standing firm in that. The 7 of Wands here in this position says, make sure you don't second guess your own behavior based on the reaction of another person. Person could be jealous. They could be trying to get more out of you than what you're willing to offer, and you know, you're on guard against like manipulative things this month. You're going to be on guard against people that are pressing too much, even asking too many questions, like and wanting too much of you. So I really like this Nine of Cups energy down here in the sacral area, where it's like the creativity based on love and emotion and an inner space and a quiet space. Is where that energy wants to be. So if you're putting up walls, Virgo, if you're setting up things around you to defend yourself, make sure you check to make sure that your sanctuary of what you know to be true is exactly where you want it. That risk of, again, burning bridge for somebody before it's time, due to like a mild conflict where it's like you could allow it to escalate and blow out of proportion, or you could be the one to sort of save the day in that and say, okay, well, we can continue to coexist and be fine with one another, even though we don't maybe see things eye to eye or the same way, so that, you know, kind of as intuitive as you are, Virgo, knowing a couple months down the road, you may need this particular option, this particular person, this particular thing to be there to serve you later, whatever that might mean for somebody. Wow, we're more mid-range pips here. 6, 5, 6s, and 7s. You know, we got 1 and a 9 on the board, but it's typical for transformation to be in these mid pips, right? To just be like, I'm okay with not knowing. I'm okay to let go, and I'm okay to, you know, allow myself to be out in the ether, so to speak, when it comes to life direction. You know, will life deal you better cards? Will life give you a break? Of course it will. But are you aligned with it so that it can do it? Or like we said, have we set ourselves up for such a strong time, a period of personal and spiritual growth, that the grind is very real. The desire to escape or to liberate, Virgo, is huge in this card. Maybe you're doing something that you just don't appreciate anymore, that you just don't like. You could be evaluating options at this time, but it all seems so unknown and maybe a little bit scary, where you're just like, oh, I can't get focused on making the transition or getting into a transformation way of thinking. Or for some of you, my heart goes out to you. If you have experienced a great loss of some sort or an injury or a great loss in the recent past, this card is kind of like you could be suffering a little bit of confusion now about what to do next, where to go next. It could have been something very meaningful that was suddenly gone from your life, and it's left a void. You're kind of filling a space, and that, seeing that now or getting that channel in now, it makes sense when I look at the other cards, because confusion it's one of those things where it's like sometimes we're so sure of ourselves, and sometimes, you know, things can be like bumping along all right, that we don't notice when we're confused, because we're like, you know what, I'm smart enough, I'm strong enough, I'm life experienced enough that confusion doesn't really affect me. But it could be like this subsurface thing where it's like maybe you are confused about something and unwilling to admit it to yourself. I don't mean to sit here and preach to you, but this is what the Seven of Cups lets me know, right? And we're going to just pull one little extra card here to bridge the gap. We got a reversal of the Three of Wands. Continue on, Virgo. Continue on your path. You do you, but don't let people come and take more from you than you are able to give, or that you seem as fair. What is fair to you needs to be fair to that other person. And if it's not, well, maybe this Seven of Wands, this Five of Swords, these little conflicts, maybe they need to be to set the energy straight so that you can continue on your path towards transformation unimpeded or without delay. Going back to that divine timing, the Three of Wands is huge in that, because it's like if we arrive at our destination point too early or too late, you miss the connector, or something feels out of sorts, leading to more confusion. You're like, well, why is that? So it's like, it's really, when we think about our parallel walk through the matrix of reality and our spiritual journey, it seems paradoxical at times, but really they are kind of running parallel to one another. And that mirroring effect should be there, and it should be present to you. And if it's not, it's kind of like a calling to you, Virgo, to make sure that it is so. Okay? All right, Virgo, I got cars falling down. Hopefully the glare wasn't too bad, and hopefully you were all able to glean a little something from this reading. And I appreciate you guys, and I empathize with what you're going through here. This is not an easy time. This is a big energy to try and align yourself with. And I wish you all success and the best of luck, peace, and prosperity through February as you get to that place of happiness and bliss where we all long to be. All right, Virgo, sending you lots of love, and we'll see you next time.